whenever you're trying to describe your leadership style, it's generally difficult because you can say all you want about what your particular leadership style is, but it's the perception. It's what you do. People can tell what your leadership style is based on how you lead and based on what your actions are. But if you have to take a look at describing a leadership style, I take the view that sitting on city council should not be that difficult a job. So being able to represent Ward 5 shouldn't be a difficult job. First of all, I understand that I have to represent the constituents in my ward. So I speak on behalf of the people living in Ward 5 at City Council. I have to be uh, uh, supportive of their needs. I have to know what their needs are, and I have to keep in touch with the constituents, know their issues. And when I speak at City Council, I have to be saying that I am speaking because I know from what I have been involved in my ward what the people in my ward would say if they could all sit around the table and express their opinions. Now, obviously, there are going to be some people that disagree within the ward, but you have to represent the will of the majority of the people. The other thing is that the decisions we make on policies and on bylaws and things that appear before City Council have to be made so that they have a positive effect on my own constituents, the Ward 5 constituents, but they also have to be done so that they're moving the city forward in some respect. We have to make decisions at council that are going to improve the baseline level of our community. And I guess if I had to label my leadership style, I approach leadership with the principle of a baseline philosophy. So I take a look at every decision that has to be made at City Council from the point of view that there's a certain condition that exists now. That's our baseline. The decisions we make at City Council have to, in some way, improve on that baseline. We shouldn't decrease the baseline, we should be improving. And on the website that you'll find below, you'll find on this particular page, you'll see a rather detailed explanation of how this baseline philosophy works. There are three main outcomes of every decision. So when we're making a decision at City Council, the decision has to it has to increase the total money available within the city. So it should increase the total money available within the City of Greater Sudbury. It doesn't matter how much it's increased, it could be just a minor, but it has to increase the total amount of money available. The decision should also then increase the total population of the community. Because if it's going to increase the total population of the community, that's going to give us a greater tax base, it's going to increase the money available, it's going to help our city to grow. And the decision should increase the total satisfaction level of the constituents living in the City of Greater Sudbury. So if we're going to spend money on anything at City Council, it should be something that's going to make the people happier, or it's going to improve their quality of life, or it's going to increase the population so there'll be more people coming into the city than leaving, or it's going to increase the total money available. And like I say, there's some examples. I used the mathematical example. So you can have a look at it if you want to see the exact explanation, but that's basically what I'm looking at. And so if I'm sitting at City Council and somebody from Ward 2 wants something to be done in their particular ward, I have to take a look at that decision and say, if supporting that proposal is going to somehow increase the satisfaction level of the Ward 2 constituents without decreasing the satisfaction level of anybody else, if it's going to possibly increase the total population by encouraging other people to move into the area, or if it's going to allow us to either bring in more capital, more money to the city, or it's going to allow us to spend money in that area that through the multiplier effect then is going to generate an economic benefit that's going to have an impact on the total community. Like we might spend $100,000 in Ward 2, and that might generate $500,000 worth of economic activity within the Greater Sudbury area. To me, that's increase in the total money available within the City of Greater Sudbury. So that's more or less my leadership style. We have to improve upon our condition, and if every decision we make at City Council is improving on our level of satisfaction, improving on our population, increasing our population, or increasing the level of money that we have available in the city, then to me it's a good decision. If it's going to result in a decrease in total, the equation is going to go down, then it's a bad decision. And we have to be very careful of making too many of those bad decisions, because that's where the satisfaction level decreases to a point where you really have diminishing return on what your decisions are. The other thing you have to consider when you're sitting at the city council table is there are certain things that you have to do and you have to decide on that are policy. You set the parameters for staff, you tell the staff to go out and administer the policy and implement the policy. But then you have to step back. Then you have to let them do their job. If we're constantly micromanaging and we constantly are making staff second guess, thinking that if they do something they're going to come back, they're going to get heck for it, what we're doing is we're totally destroying confidence and productivity. Now obviously, staff has to know what their parameters are. They have to know what they should be expected to do, and they should be expected to do that. You set the goals, you set the policy, you let them do their job, you try to stay out of the way and let them accomplish the task, but at the end of the day it's the councillors that are held accountable too. So we have to hold staff accountable. But we also should not be interfering with staff any more than we have to. We're there to set the policy, we're there to set the direction, we're there to make sure that the voice of our constituents are heard. I hope that as you're reading through the information on the website, you have a better idea of what this baseline philosophy is all about. But that's more or less what I judge my leadership style on. Every decision should be improving the situation, improving from the baseline. And if every decision is improving on your current situation, then we're heading in the right direction.